What's up, everybody? It's Jason Cruz here once again with another episode of the Legal Submission. We're back, from a little bit of an absence. I want to remind you guys once again to like, subscribe, visit MMA Payoff for all that you need in the business of combat sports. And this time around, we are going to talk about a little boxing lawsuit. Maybe not a little, but a big boxing lawsuit involving Greg Cohen Promotions and against a former investor. What is interesting in this lawsuit is not the lawsuit itself, but a deposition testimony from the defendant, Greg Cohen. And in that particular testimony, he indicates that he paid a consulting firm $17,250 related to a boxing event for one of his fighters. And as the deposition again is one of those things in which you discuss, you talk about the case and anything related to the case. So basically, the attorney for the plaintiff, in this case Clifford Mass, was asking about certain documents related to this particular fight. Up comes this payment to a consulting firm for $17,250, and Cohen says it was identified. The company was Sports Consulting Services. Little digging done by Boxing Scene and Insider.com reveals that Sports Consulting Services is owned by individuals related to the World Boxing Association. Now, the WBA is one of the sanctioning bodies, and they are one of the governing bodies that comes up with rankings. Now, why is rankings important? Rankings are important, especially in boxing, because they determine who gets the shots at the champion and who will be the champion. So, as it should happen without the politics involved in combat sports, the people that work their way up to the top that get the higher rankings get shots at the title. Now, that doesn't always happen, and as is occurring in this deposition testimony, what it reveals, and what's actually happening in a lawsuit not related to this, but Mahmoud Char is filing a lawsuit, is suing Don King Promotions and the WBA and the WBA's president for allegedly having a promoter work with the sanctioning body. Now, obviously, it would seem that a promoter paying a sanctioning body or an organization ancillary to the sanctioning body would be a conflict. And indeed, it probably is. And also a violation of the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act. Of course, as we know, the Ali Act is put there to protect fighters not only from themselves regarding safety issues, but also to protect themselves from unsavory business practices within the sport of boxing. And it would appear as though if you were to pay a consulting company that works with the WBA or is owned by the WBA, would be something that would be a conflict and a violation of the Ali Act. So a little bit more about this company, Sports Consulting Services. It was incorporated in the state of Florida, and the documents indicate that it was controlled or managed by individuals under the employ or closely associated with the World Boxing Association. That's per BoxingScene.com. And one individual that was listed as a current officer is an individual by Ziley Kuba, who is a social media manager for the WBA. So it looks as though it's much more than just an arm's length deal between Cohen and the WBA. in fact, if the documents are correct, the WBA has some ownership interest in sports consulting services. So what does that mean when Cohen pays over $17,000 to sports consulting services for a fight in which one of his boxers is going to be fighting? Well, it seems to create a pay-for-play kind of aspect. And even when Cohen indicates in the particular deposition that they are a lobbying firm, it would make it seem more that it's not a lobbying firm, more that it's a direct payment to the sanctioning body, which would make it seem corrupt. Untoward. That if you are a fighter or a promoter, you would have to pay a sanctioning body so you could make sure that your fighter gets the fights they need. Now, the reason why you want the title and higher ranking is because you make more money, and that's the issue here. So what will happen? Well, nothing could happen because this is unrelated to the lawsuit between an individual by Clifford Mass and Greg Cohen and Greg Cohen Promotions. Just to go over that lawsuit a little bit, Mass had provided Cohen a lot of money to invest in his promotion, and he saw no return, or saw little return related to his investment. Cohen obviously denies this fact that he was expected or guaranteed a return on his investment. We'll follow that in a future legal submission. But as far as this revelation goes, the government could launch an investigation as far as whether or not this is a violation of the Ali Act. More likely than not that just goes under the table, which is unfortunate because you could tell from these particular instances that when you are a promoter, you have to work with a sanctioning body, and it appears as the allegations from Greg Cohen Promotions, or the evidence from Greg Cohen and Greg Cohen Promotions that they gave money to a lobbying firm, as well as the lawsuit involving Don King and Mahmoud Char, in which Char alleges that Char alleges that Don King edged him out of title fights with the WBA, and Char claims that the WBA agreed with King to freeze Char out of his fights, and in fact, in the lawsuit, Char claims that he was stripped of his title from the WBA because of inactivity. Now we will talk about Char and King later on, but as far as this information, in which Cohen pays a consulting firm to lobby, quote unquote, lobby for him for his fight with a sanctioning body, should be really concerning. And would this be something that could happen in MMA with a organization like the UFC or Bellator or PFL? Perhaps that you could see a scenario in which agents work with the promoter in getting their fighters fights that they want, or marquee fights to help the fighter and the agent's business. Now, that's another question for another day. Again, we will follow this if there is a conclusion to this information. Once again, this is Jason Cruz with the Legal Submission. Like, subscribe, follow MMApayout.com. We're back. Have a great day. Bye-bye.